Hey Co-op, it's story time. Motivational Monday. I want to tell you a story about a man named Vice Admiral James Stockdale. He was in the Navy during the Vietnam War. He's flying a fighter jet over Vietnam and was shot down, was taken prisoner, was held as a prisoner of war for 7 years. While he was a prisoner, he was tortured over a dozen times. He was in leg irons for about 4 of those years. He was at a place called Hanoi Hilton, they called it, which is a place where lots of American soldiers were being held prisoner. And while he was there, he, obviously was put through physical and mental and psychological torture, right? And his mental toughness allowed him to persevere through that time. Later in life, he was released and lived the rest of his life and continued to serve in the military until he retired, and died in 2005, I think. You should Google him because he's got a really fascinating life. A lot of the details of what he went through while he was there are fascinating, and some of the ways that he dealt with and kind of used mind games even against the people who were holding him captive is fascinating. But as an adult, as an older retired adult, he was being interviewed by someone who's writing a book about business, and he came up with this idea that's called the Stockdale paradox. Because he asked Admiral Stockdale, how is it that you were able to, that's my son in the background making lots of noise. How is it that you were able to persevere through all that time, right? And so he talked about two things, right? And that's why it's called a paradox. And these two things are kind of opposite of one another. One is an unwavering faith that things are going to get better. Absolute, I know that I'm going to get out of this and things are going to be good. But at the same time, being, this is Luke. Say hello. Hey, give me another minute, okay, buddy? At the same time, absolutely not ignoring any of the worst possible parts of his circumstances, right? And so he asks, the author asks Stockdale, well, who are the people who didn't survive, right? And he immediately says, the optimists. The optimists didn't survive. He said, well, didn't you just tell me that that's what you were? He said, no. The optimists, they're unrealistically optimistic. They say, by Christmas we'll get out. And then Christmas comes and goes, and they're a little heartbroken. They say, by Easter we'll get out. And Easter comes and goes, and they're a little heartbroken. Stockdale says, you need to maintain faith that things are going to get better, but you cannot ignore any of the truths of your circumstance at the same time. To be blindly optimistic is unreasonable and leads to significant disappointment that can really weaken your mental toughness. And I think about this paradox all the time when I'm dealing with stress and worry and things that are completely out of my control. And I think that I think that this is what I'm doing. I'm trying to maintain control over the things I can, right? Going on Google Classroom as often as I can. I'm engaging with students as often as I can. I'm doing reading and writing and playing games with my children here at home, because those are the things that I have control over. I'm not ignoring the circumstances I'm in. I'm making the best of them. And I also know that if it's in a couple of weeks, if it's not until September, whenever this is over, I'm going to continue with my life, and I'm going to make this a part of my life in the future, right? There's a lot of advantages for this time, even though it feels like, this is the apocalypse and all of this bad stuff is happening. Yes, this is bad. It's uncomfortable. It's unfortunate, but we can use it for our future. So, maintain, Admiral Stockdale would say, in circumstances like this, maintain an unwavering faith that things are going to get better, but maintain your wits and understand all of the circumstances, good, bad, and indifferent, about the circumstances that you are actually in. This is Lily. Say hi.
Hi.
All right, guys. Hopefully I'll see you really soon. Bye.